Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. Welcome to the Depression Recovery Channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. Today is Flashback Friday, a feature in which I republish one of my earlier videos you might not have seen that contains really important coping strategies that will help you attain a better mood. Now here's today's video. The other day I was reading my favorite newspaper, the New York Times, and my favorite section in the New York Times, the Science Times. And I noticed a headline. It was an advertisement. It was a banner headline. Took up the whole page and it said, "This is not science fiction." I was intrigued, so I read the ad. I'm going to read it to you right now. It continues like this. "This is not science fiction. It is the true story of a patient whose heart had stopped and the doctors who never gave up on her. You can't make up a story like this. Tara arrived in St. Francis Hospital with a ruptured aorta. If that weren't bad enough, she immediately went into cardiac arrest. Doctors knew they only had seconds to react. They opened her chest, massaged her heart, and miraculously they brought Tara back to life right there in the emergency room. They continued with extensive cardiothoracic surgery in the operating room to repair the aorta. They saved Tara's life. As Tara says, they never gave up on me. And as one of our surgeons says, that is what St. Francis Hospital is all about." Now, this is obviously a really cool, story. I mean, amazing, miraculous intervention to the last minute. But what if in the next hour someone had walked in with a gun to his head, maybe a young man who was clearly suicidal? Would they have taken that person to brain surgery? Would the brain surgeon have opened up the brain and then sewed a few neurons back together, stitch, 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 and then said, "Hey, you're cured. No more suicidal thinking. We fixed your brain"? Would that have ever happened? Now, obviously, this kind of surgery could not have been done on this man who suffered from suicidal thinking. So what would have happened? Well, he would have probably waited a day or two in the ER room and then gone to a depressing psychiatric ward somewhere in the city and then been released in 2 to 5 days with the same suicidal thinking he had before. So what's going on here? Why the difference between these two stories? Well, if we look at modern medicine, we see all sorts of amazing advances that have occurred in the last 50 years, from hip surgery, hip replacement surgery, to heart transplants, lung transplants, kidney transplants, cataract surgery that prevents blindness, and also the successful care of premature babies. However, these feats of modern medicine have not been duplicated in modern psychiatry. One reason is that the brain is the most complex organ in the body, with billions of neurons and trillions of connections. So it's going to take a long time before scientists unravel the mysteries of the brain and allow mental illness to be treated much more precisely than it is now. We're truly in the dark ages of psychiatric medicine. So how do we get out of the dark ages? Well, it's kind of obvious. We need a lot more research and money spent on the treatment of mental disorders. But there's one other serious obstacle beyond the complexity of the brain, and that's the stigma that still surrounds mental illness. Do you know that after all this time, the majority of Americans still think that people with depression have a weak will or defect in character? This is not so. I find this lack of interest and funding for mental health disorders not only appalling, but puzzling. Because according to the Surgeon General, in any given year, 1 out of every 5 Americans suffers from a mental illness, and over the course of a lifetime, 1 out of every 2. So since mental health disorders are so pervasive and affect so many people, you would think there would be more interest in doing research. But again, stigma is the problem. So where does that leave us who are suffering from mental health disorders and depression? Well, since there are no miraculous cures and certainly no brain transplants — by the way, have you ever felt you needed a brain transplant? I have. Since we don't have any of these miraculous cures, we have to use our modest tools and join together in community to heal from depression. This approach may not be sexy, it may not be miraculous, but it does work. The fact that I and so many other people have emerged from the abyss of depression points to that fact. But we have to do more than just work on our individual healing. We have to join together in community to demand more funding for research into mental health disorders. This is what women did. This is what African Americans did. This is what gay people did. They stood up for their rights and they got them. Now it is our turn. It is our turn to demand compassionate treatment for mental illness so that hundreds of millions of people around the world can get the treatment and the healing they deserve. This has been Douglas Bloch. I hope you found the information on this Flashback Friday video helpful. If so, please give it a like, as likes draw more and more people to this channel and hopefully some more subscribers. You can also leave your comments in the comments section or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you do want to subscribe to this channel, click on my photo in the closing credits. You'll be taken to my subscribe page. And if you click on the bell to the right, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or live chat. And if you want to contribute to this channel and become a patron, simply click on the Patreon image. You'll be taken to my crowdfunding site. And until next video, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.